This man literally says, fully knowing that he can get that huge Frankenstein's monster-looking scar on his face removed, that he chooses not to, because being able to wake up every morning and look at it in the mirror reminds him of the day he lost everything, and it ignites him with fresh hatred. This is unbelievable. This is some advanced hating. The man doesn't just want the smoke, he brings it to you. Kagurabaki, the manga that everyone and their mother is discussing. Chihiro Rokuhira, a former swordsmith turned savage assassin who has dedicated his life to finding the people who took everything from him and brutally punishing them. Originally being meant to take over his father's business and enjoy peace and serenity in the purpose his work gave him. What brought us to this stripped away, sadness and sorrow in the background, horrifying massacre displayed today? Let's start all the way back from the beginning. We'll be discussing Chihiro, the main character's motives, his drive to kill those who robbed him of everything, and most importantly, how this all came to be, as the story doesn't outright explain to us what happened to Chihiro and his father, but with a select few pieces of the puzzle, we can easily put this together, as well as many other aspects of Chihiro's powers, including the system of magic the sorcerers he's chasing will be using, as well as the overall world the story will take place in. If you enjoy content like this, leave a like, subscribe, and say a prayer to the god of your choice if the Shonen Guillotine misses on this one. Back to the days where it all began. Chihiro Rokuhira was a wise, cracking, mature for his age apprentice swordsmith under his father, the most legendary katana crafter in all the land, Kunoshige Rokuhira, famous for making swords with a special, unique technique. And we'll get into what makes it so special later in this video. But all you need to know now is that his style was unreplicatable, which required Chihiro to take his father seriously during his work with him, but only then. As opposed to his craft, Chihiro's father was a bit of a clown, always found talking to the three fish that he was unsurprisingly conned into buying under the pretense that they were good luck. More on the fish later, as they also play a very important role in the plot to come. Chihiro, watching his clumsy father truly enter the zone when creating swords, from a young age, Chihiro learned the importance and honor that went into honing blades, putting the value of steel above even human life itself, although this level of extremity wouldn't make itself apparent quite yet. As his father says, katanas have always saved lives and slashed open new eras, but they are still tools for killing people. With great power comes great responsibility. To become a great swordsmith is to become a great dealer of death, a lesson Kunoshige ensures Chihiro learns if he is ever to truly understand the blade. Only an innocent child, before the 3-year time skip that breezes through said events that caused Chihiro to end up a cold-blooded killer, Kunoshige himself was even reluctant to acknowledge his son's coming of age. Before the time skip, we're also introduced to Mr. Shiba, a longtime friend of Chihiro's father, war comrades even, a soldier in the so-called Seitei War that occurred 15 years ago, where Chihiro's father first made a name for himself. Here we get our first clue as to what may have came back to haunt Kunoshige and his son, whether it be old war enemies or people who would want to steal what Kunoshige, this legendary swordsmith, had created. Even worse, there could be more suspect reasons. But either way, it was said that the epic swords that Kunoshige made were responsible for ending the war. And we don't truly understand why and what makes Chihiro's father's sword so amazing until Chihiro unveils his magnum opus at the end of the chapter. But in order to understand this ultimate creation, we have to go back to those 3 fish. Bought at some shop on Chihiro's father's way home from the sword polisher, he claims that the red fish attracts good fortune, the black one wards off evil, and the 3-colored one, well, that one is strictly said to just be amazing. Initially, these fish could potentially symbolize the eventual downfall of the family's business, signaling the exact opposite of what the shop owner told Chihiro's father. Or these fish will represent the highs Chihiro experiences on his journey of revenge, and the good fortune that will be displayed while Chihiro literally wards off evil by obliterating it in into pieces. The latter option seems more likely, as the three fish seem to have become an extension of Chihiro's power as an assassin. It's revealed at the end of the chapter that the secret that made Kunishige Rokuhiro's swordsmanship so magnificent was the ability to imbue his blades with sorcery, pure, unadulterated magic, assumed to be a rarity in this world, displayed by the power sorcerers wield in the status quo. And we'll get fully into sorcerers in just a minute. Magic, as displayed by Chihiro himself by the final sword constructed by Kunishige Rokuhiro, the blade he gave his life to manufacture, takes the form of these three fish becoming familiar like spirits, and allow Chihiro to wield their powers of fortune, warding off evil and the unknown three-colored fish known as Nishiki. The black fish, when casted, legitimately allows Chihiro to cut through whatever he deems as evil. Chihiro can slice much further than a normal katana's length, ripping through crowds of enemies. Unfortunately, in this sequence, the red fish of good fortune is not seen, but more importantly, we don't see the ability of Nishiki, the tri-colored fish, either, which ultimately seems to be responsible for the entire slaughtering of the group of Yakuza. Whatever the fish's technique is, combined with Chihiro's amazing swordsmanship, skilled enough to work his way around an entire room of murderous and armed Yakuza, magic is clearly something that holds superiority over average humans in the land. It would explain why average Yakuza need to make deals with sorcerers in order to maintain power grips. And after discussing our introduction to magic, it's a perfect segue into sorcerers, what seems to be our group of villains for this part of the plot. And yes, I said part. Partnering with simple Yakuza members to extort their criminal enterprises for their own gain, we are only met with one instance of a man wielding magic. Chihiro refers to the people he is hunting as them, and it is clearly this person or group that he is after. These characters clearly have a vice grip on the power system as mentioned before, while the sorcerer tortures an innocent civilian by manifesting some form of spiked tree out of thin air. So magic is not just casted by the Shikigami or tamed creatures, maybe with some object of sorts, as the sorcerer before fading away is shown to have some mark or tattoo on his hand, as well as one darkened eye. As more will clearly come to light on how devastating magic can be. What is clear is that certain cities or areas of this world are completely overrun with crime and gangs. Not just acting as potential foreshadowing as to what could have happened to Chihiro's father, it provides Chihiro a clear way to embody his father's words while searching for this sorcerer group, being someone who wields a katana to vanquish evil and protect the weak. It's for this reason and this reason alone, when seeing scum like these Yakuza wield katana, it makes Chihiro sick. Which brings us to present day, on his search for the sorcerers who destroyed his family and future. Joined by his father's longtime friend and potential suspect, Mr. Shiba, Chihiro Rokuhiro vows to pave his search in blood if it's necessary to do so. Mr. Shiba gives him leads to the sorcerers and Chihiro follows through on them. Though it does make cutting them down a lot easier when the people that are the leads are hanging people in the street and torturing civilians who just want to protect their home. Whether this makes our main character a hero, or we're just given a narrative convenient for a villain, paired with the three fish his father gave his life to enchant into the blades Chihiro now carries. Hopefully, the only thing that doesn't get cut is this manga. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe to see future content on the series if it survives, and most importantly, thank you for watching. Check out an end screen video to continue your binge, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.